Hi, it smells red songbird. The Michelle Birdsong in New York City. Mainstreaming clues to the marginalized. I saw a video last night that I highly recommend. It's called Slaying the Dragon Within Us. And it was a lecture by Jordan B. Peterson. And it's at his channel, Jordan B. Peterson YouTube channel. Slaying the Dragon Within Us is excellent, 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 excellent. Okay, the article I'm going to talk about or read about is called Why Be Vegetarians? I've been a lacto-vegetarian for 49 years. I figured it out last night how long, since 1970. The last I heard two of my children sing, this is Sing, when he was Jagat Singh the Saint, and this is Sing as he is now, Sing Birdsong. This is and Robin's also a lacto-vegetarian. There she is. She wrote the book, Sneezy the Greasy Baby Sits Abigail. This is a picture of the video. It's the best family friendly video on YouTube called Sneezy, a Michelle Birdsong channel. Okay, so let's get started. Why be vegetarians? In Divine Light, Maharaji, which means king, Charan Singh, the 20th century form of Jesus Christ. That's Charan Singh as he was then. It's actually in my womb now. Because what happened was he became Gurinder Singh, because love is becoming another person. So he loved Gurinder Singh and became Gurinder Singh. Charan Singh is actually in Gurinder Singh. That soul is in my womb, is a new soul without an identity. Understand? Okay. So in Divine Light, Maharaji Charan Singh, 20th century form of Jesus Christ, wrote a succinct explanation of why followers of Sant Mat are vegetarians. Eating eggs and flesh meat, including that of fish and fowl, does retard one's spiritual progress, he wrote. Taking of life hardens the heart and creates a heavy debt of karmas. The birds, cattle, fish, and so forth that we kill do not want to die. How piteously they cry and scream when we catch them to be butchered. Since they are capable of feeling pain and pleasure, the merciful Lord, who is as much their Father as he is ours, will certainly call us to account for butchering them mercilessly. There is no injustice in God's law. Okay. This is God, the 21st century form of Jesus Christ, Govinda Singh. He's coming to the States this month. So a lot of people are very fortunate. They're going to get to see about 5,000 people usually show up to see him in North Carolina. What is that word? The term, oh, that's a T, I didn't cross it all the way. The term, God's law, refers to the law of karma, which is the universal law of cause and effect. This law has been expressed in many different ways. As you sow, so shall you reap. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. What goes around comes around. Everything we do incurs a karmic debt. The karmic law plays out through the transmigration of our souls, which are reincarnated over and over again to live out the consequences of previous actions. Got that? Our true essence is soul, which is born, dies, and then reborn into countless bodies until we can manage to break free by merging our souls back with the Lord. We're trapped in the cycle by our karmas or actions. In each body, we perform actions which must, by their nature, result in reactions. Because we commit too many actions in one lifetime to live through their consequent reactions, we must be born again to reap their effects. And so the cycle continues until we can liberate ourselves once and for all from the karmic wheel. The killing of any living thing incurs a karmic debt, which must be paid off. We want to incur as little debt as possible to lighten the burden that keeps our souls trapped in this world. So we are vegetarian, because that diet entails taking the lowest form of life possible, but even then the karmic law applies. The fact is that we cannot remain in this world without killing. In the book Being Vegetarian, the author explains, while every creature must eat to live, whether that means eating plants or other animals, humans can choose to do the least harm possible and consume a plant-based diet, perhaps including dairy products. Even a small child understands that, while picking a flower from the neighbor's carefully tended garden may be naughty, harming the neighbor's cat is a much worse offense. Harming the neighbor herself is worse yet. In the same manner, while consuming fruits, vegetables, and grains is taking a form of life, plants are less conscious than sea, air, or land creatures. We can keep our killing on the lowest possible level of consciousness, preventing immense suffering. What karma we do incur from killing plant life can be neutralized through our meditation and leading an otherwise ethical life. Aside from the ethical and karmic reasons for not extinguishing life merely to satisfy our appetites, there is a mental dimension. Saints tell us that extinguishing life to nourish ourselves affects the very structure of our mind. Our mind is scattered throughout the body and the entire world outside, which the mind perceives through the body's senses. Mystics tell us that the path to self and God realization lies within ourselves, and that we must collect our attention within at the eye center, its natural focal point, rather than scatter it without. Maharaji Charan Singh, 20th century form of Jesus Christ, writes in Divine Light, food, like actions, affects the mind and therefore its capacity to concentrate at its natural focal point. Killing a man causes a more severe mental reaction than plucking an apple from a tree. Concentration of mind would therefore be proportionately more difficult in the case of a man who has killed a goat, or one who has plucked an apple from a tree. The reason is that the manifest form of life in a man, in a goat, and in an apple tree has different degrees of consciousness or awareness. Accordingly, the extinguishing of life in each of them causes varying degrees of mental reaction and therefore obstruction to spiritual concentration of the mind. So the higher levels of life we kill to eat, the more scattered the mind becomes, and thus the more difficult it is to withdraw our attention to the eye center in meditation. Someone sings that you become human when you reach the eye center. And in the 40s, he said a miracle was at the armpit. It wasn't at the eye center. So, but that's pretty high up. I don't know if we've devolved since then. I suspect we have. Where does all this leave us in relation to the eating of eggs and the harm of eating infertile eggs? Nature has made eggs for the hatching of chicks. The fact that infertile eggs contain no life is irrelevant. They were intended to be a vehicle of life, and so we should avoid them. In the words of Maharaji Sawan Singh, now Michael John Spear, Meat and eggs, fertile and infertile, do not suit those who wish to subdue animal nature in them, and who wish to still their mind and gain access to subtle planes, like the astral plane and the causal plane. Saints and mystics advocate a vegetarian diet so that we can lighten our karmic load and thereby make spiritual progress in our meditation and everyday life. But being vegetarian makes sense even if we are not interested in the liberation of our souls from the wheel of birth and death. Projection of Jesus Christ Gurinder Singh. That's Jesus Christ Gurinder Singh. Sir Paul McCartney has said, if slaughterhouses had glass walls, everyone would be a vegetarian. So what it is, we put it out of our minds what these animals are going through, so we can eat their dead body parts. A life of non-violence, not killing for food or sport, promotes peace in the world and peace within ourselves. Also, it is by now well documented that being vegetarian can make us healthier physically and can make a vast difference in the health of the planet, because by eating meat, we contribute to climate change, destruction of the Earth's forests, and the poisoning of our air and water. Among all the animals and plants of the earth, only humans have the power of discrimination. Unlike other animals which must obey their instinctual natures, we can make conscious choices. We can decide not to make a graveyard of our bodies by filling our bodies with the flesh of animals, which have souls just like we do. We can consciously choose to be vegetarian, not because we were raised that way or because it's cool, but because it's just the right thing to do. And we all know that, don't we? Okay, these are a couple books about vegetarian if you want to read further. Radhaswami Bayal's Vegetarian. Being Vegetarian is the name of this book. RSSB eBooks by Rebecca Hammonds. Radhaswami, which means Lord of the Soul. Satsang Bayal. Being vegetarian is not a cookbook. It's about why and how to be vegetarian or vegan in a mainly meat-eating world. And then you have recipes by international indigenous cooks and the Green Way to Healthy Living, which is a cookbook. It's a Radhaswami Satsang by the Radhaswami Satsang Bayal, available at Amazon.com. That's called The Green Way to Healthy Living. And these are recipes. When Gurinder Singh was appointed master, that's the first thing he did, was have all the people from all over the world to contribute, Satsangis, disciples of Jesus, to contribute recipes for the cookbook. So if you want pizza, you'll get it from an Italian, from Italy. You see, like that. Okay? All right.